Before we wander on into the episode, I just want to make sure that everyone goes out there and hits up the YouTube, check out the Spotify, check out Apple, wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast, is to go down, like it, subscribe, hit the bell if it's YouTube. Make sure you're getting those reminders. We do put these out every week. So make sure you do all that. It helps us out. And in the long run, we can make better things. So again, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Like, let's take that same story. And now if I were to tell it, it's like got out of my car and damn near flipping died because there's a rattlesnake right outside stepping on it. Like life flashed before my eyes.
Right? No, we can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility? Clink. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, man. So
deja vu. That's what I'm feeling right now. Is deja vu.
Disclaimer, Wanderers, episode listeners, welcome. First, you're going to learn about Big Bend today. Me and Mark we just talked for about 40 minutes about why we really want to get into Big Bend Park. And he didn't hit the record button. So we're going to run it back for you guys one more time. So Mark, buddy, let's talk about Crater Lake. You did this there.
Yeah, that's where we started. Yeah, no. Part of the things I did this last weekend is I finally went out and I took the van on its first expedition, loaded it up, and decided to ride my bike around good old Crater Lake.
I mean, it looked cool. The pictures look cool and shit. I was about it. I'm jealous because I've never really been to Crater Lake, and you're like, let's do a breakdown on Crater Lake, and I'm like, I've never been, dog. Like, we got to get.
I know. It could be. I think it could be decent. I mean, it would kind of suck for you because you haven't really been there, but
that's life. I'm about it though. I do think we can get into it. It's one of those parks I want to go to. I mean, let's talk about that. You biked. I heard that it was what, 30 something miles?
Well, yeah, I did 34, but that's because I did a couple outlooks and I stopped because I made it a day. I didn't try and go for time or anything. Still actually moved pretty good. Was pretty happy with the effort I put out time wise, but so I did offshoots and I added more distance overall than what you normally do. I think it's normally about 32 and I did about 34. Nice. But it's hilly, man. It's up and it's down the whole time, no flat. I think I did 4,000 feet of climb, a little bit over or maybe right around 4,000. And some of the climbs are long. There's a couple 2-mile ones. There's the main one, or the biggest one, which is from Mount Mazama Village, which is below the park. It's right at the south entrance. But from there, it climbs up and does a switchback for vehicles because it's just kind of climb. And so that takes you to the Rim Village or part of the West Rim Drive. So I go up and I was going to make the Rim Village my stop. And I get up to the top. I stop there to go fill up water. And I hear this kid off to the side. He goes, "Oh, whoa, it's him. He made it up." Which was hilarious to hear.
They joked about it in the car saying, I don't know if that guy's going to make it up that hill.
Yeah, I know. That's the best part is someone in the car was probably like, "Oh, that poor sucker's got to go up all this."
No, little did they know you're loving it and enjoying it and wanting to be all about it.
Yeah, I was enjoying it at that point. It was a bitch of a climb though. I will admit that. Had some other kids say I have a cool bike, so I'm still feeling pretty good about that.
Good. Did you
walk by? I'm looking for the water, and I'm walking by, and this little kid goes like, Oh, that's a cool bike.
Nice. Did you see any e-bikes while you were out and about?
No e-bikes. I didn't see any. I did see other bikers though.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw I think like six other people biking it. Um, it was nice to see. They started a lot later than I did. I started my ride at like 8:30. Um, Wanted to beat the cars because that park does get packed on that west side.
I don't blame you one bit. That's definitely something that we consider when we go to national parks. And even today, diving into the park we're going to talk about, I know it seems like it's falling into one of those parks we like where there's not a lot of people. So that's something that seems pretty neat.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, what we are here to talk about today, it's the reason why you probably clicked. It's not just to hear our voices, it's to continue on our ABCs of national parks. Last time was the Badlands. So if you want to learn some fun facts about the Badlands, go check out that one, that podcast episode. It's a good one. But no, we're continuing on our journey to Z, and we're stopping with Big Bend. I got
oh,
the
that
postcard with
postcard.
it and everything.
I knew you were going to do that. I was like, this guy's got a postcard, everybody. He's got a story. He sends his nieces a postcard from every national park he goes to, or just every trip you do.
I just have a stack of them. National Park is the theme. They've sent me three on their summer travels already. I got one from I got one of a black bear when my niece sent it, and apparently when she saw it in the like national park like visitor center store, apparently she was like, "Oh, that's an Uncle Mark postcard." So
Right.
honestly, I'll be honest, I don't know why she thought of me with the black bears because I haven't talked about black bears often. If I do talk about bears, it's mostly grizzly bears. So I
Did, uh, did you see the postcard at Jared's house in Prey with the Bigfoot?
oh yeah, I did see that one.
It
No,
was
but the postcards, it's a fun thing. I think, especially if you are a traveler, little kids, nieces, or your own kids, I think it's fun. I think they'll get a kick
well,
out of it.
I try to do that on all my trips with Thea, just because like you started doing that on trips. And I was like, man, that's kind of neat. And it's cool. What's really cool about it is if you can bring a stamp or buy a stamp while you're down there,
Oh
and
yeah.
you get the postmark like it's from the area,
Hmm.
uh, or like in Hawaii, I was trying to find one to drop it in, which I think I did to where like it beats me home.
Yeah,
Uh, and I know I tried doing that with Thea, and like it's just something cool.
it is. Yeah, that's also if you can carry stamps with you, and try and mail it. If it's a big enough park, you can mail it straight from the park. I think I actually did that with Yellowstone once.
Oh,
Um,
100%. Yeah.
So, I mean, that one, there's literally a post office at Old Faithful.
I
Um,
think there's one in Mammoth too.
so does that make it a city, or a town?
I know Mammoth technically is.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's like a federal town. So I think it's kind of falls under like
Yeah, I don't know.
what like military base kind of.
Oh, yeah, it probably is something like
But
that.
it has like a Wyoming zip code.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the argument always is, it's not a real town if it doesn't have a post office.
No, but that's true. Like you go to Mosby, Montana, it's just a post office. It's for all the ranchers. No, it's literally Highway 200, dirt road, me post office for all the ranchers in the middle of nowhere. Or where the it was out by Jordan. I forget the name of the town, but you're just out on this random ass dirt road in the middle of nowhere, Montana. Post office.
I mean, you gotta mail. They got rid of the Pony Express, so you gotta have mail somehow. They probably don't have the best internet.
No, not at all.
But speaking of Pony Express, We're going to jump back in time to 1944, which is when Big Bend became a national park.
And I'm reading about it here. I was reading about it kind of in the halftime there, but it turned into the pregame again. And I was looking at like the history behind it, and it's kind of interesting how Texas was the one who gave it to like the park, or gave it to the US essentially as like a gift. And it was like for World War II, and it was like all about good morale and making it a good part. And it's just it has an interesting story, and you can actually read that on the National Park website.
That is kind of interesting. That also seems like a very Texas thing to do. Like,
right.
Yeah, here, we'll give you some of our land as a gift.
Exactly. Hey, be careful now with that accent. I think we have some listeners from Texas.
Yeah, we do have a fair amount. I'm sure they make fun of how I talk, because I talk kind of odd. So
I'm just kidding. I got to call it out because that kid from San Antonio was going like, yeah, ha ha.
Joke's on you. I don't talk like that.
Joke's on y'all. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, but it's cool because it's kind of like, well, what's the term? You used the term, actually, not even when we tried recording, but you I think it was on the phone, but you talked about it being like a desert oasis.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally think that this is one of those parks where the rivers run a little bit better.
Yeah.
The wildlife's there, the ecosystem's healthy for the most part, and you see that like they have mountain lions, they have bobcats, they have rabbits and deer and black bear, which was something surprising to you because of how far south down it is.
Yeah.
They have what else? Elk, which was non-native. They had javelinas. They had
like the desert mountain goats, but they also had the African species that was invasive.
Yeah, here, let me pull it up here. They had the Aoudad, Aoudad. It's an invasive species that numerous exotic Barbary sheep, which are native to North Africa and the deserts of the Middle East. And they look like bighorn sheep with the kind of the curved antlers off to the side there. And then they have the Nutria, which looks like a big beaver, which is also invasive.
I think it's a nutria.
Nutria, yep.
Nutria, what'd you call it?
Nutria.
I think it's nutria.
You're probably right.
I don't know. I'll put a poll on this episode. So if you're listening on Spotify, answer the poll. Is it nutria or nutrilla?
You're probably right. Non-native species, also elk. There is elk there in the park. They've been there since the 1990s.
Oh, wow. That seems since 1990s. That's odd. The question I asked, because I didn't know, but we talked about how there could be mountains right there. So
they're bighorn sheep.
Yeah, well, they have the desert ones. But I asked the questions if there were any jaguar there, because the jaguar are moving north. They had one spotted, I believe, in Arizona. So I asked if there was going to be one maybe in Big Bend, and I think because the mountains, it's probably why we saw Arizona but not Texas.
Yeah, it was more west than east, because I believe there are some mountains that run there in Mexico. But they got like the coyotes, the javelinas as well. And they, like I said, they have gray fox and these ringtail things, which are interesting. They're kind of like a raccoon. They're called ringtails, badgers. But I'm sure, if you're having black bear and mountain lion, and there is a jaguar type species cats have a large, when you look at like areas of animals, they're one of those animals that have a large historic area. So it wouldn't surprise, and they'll go long distances. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was a subspecies or something like that is starting to show up over here. Because there are a lot of people who have taken those efforts to help with conservation.
Well, 100%. Yeah, but I don't know. Again, there's only like there's such a few amount that far north when it comes to the jaguar, that I don't need, maybe there's just not enough to get over there. Maybe as time, if there becomes more of these big cats, they'll spread out kind of, but
Give it time.
yeah, that's it. And I'm willing to bet it's actually won't be in, well, maybe it could be in our lifetime towards the end, that we would see it, but I don't think so. But
We'll figure that out.
yeah, Big Ben's also kind of a popular spot for birding. I keep seeing that pop up every time I keep doing any kind of research for this park. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say you should go birding there for all you bird lovers.
Well, and not only that, but one of the cool things you and I were talking about too was it stars. It in 2012, I believe. It was named as an international dark sky park. Big Bend National Park has the darkest measured skies in the lower 48 states, and stargazing here is obviously superb for that reason.
Yeah, I bet it's phenomenal there. I actually, before I saw that or heard that, I did think that it was going to be like up there with like a Bryce Canyon for stargazing. So I'm not surprised it's, a banger of a spot for stargazing. The fun fact was that it's the darkest measured skies in the lower 48. That is a fun fact. And it makes me want to go, for sure. I want to experience the darkest place in the lower 48.
I know, I agree. I think that being dubbed a dark sky park, that's cool. I think Bryce Canyon is, I think Badlands is, those dark sky parks.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
Oh no, I don't think Grand Canyon is anymore.
Oh, it was at one point.
Yeah, but there's so much built up around it that it's probably screwing it up.
Probably Vegas. They also say right here, the large range of elevations in the park contribute to its biological diversity. There are 56 species of reptiles, 75 species of mammals, and 450 species of birds. So there's your birding, along with 1,200 plant life species.
Yeah, I saw that. And then there's like 60 species of just cacti, which is kind of cool.
It's also dubbed, oh, that's really cool. It's also dubbed one of the most remote parks in the continental US.
Oh yeah, I mean it's right on the border.
Well,
Mexico.
800,000 people or no, not 800,000 people. That's 800,000 acres of land.
Yeah.
It's in 2019, 460,000 people was eyes. I mean, I'm sure that was up in 2020, 2022. I mean, these are the facts that I have on this
Oh
website.
yeah, it would be interesting to see the numbers
Grow.
What they are like. Because I saw that it's around 300,000 people. So like 400, whatever, that does seem about right for the highest number of visitors. But it would be interesting to see a more up-to-date one. But yeah. I don't know. Well, did you actually see Yellowstone's numbers are down?
Well, really?
I'm just saying, did you see?
They closed the park. I would hope.
There's still people going.
They're up again. Record numbers in June.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, actually, no, they're feeling it over there for sure. But even talking to Jared over there in Paradise Valley, he was saying how people are finding other things to do. Like some of those, like the river. He's like, there's a lot of people on the river. And I tried telling him, I was like, well, that's because you're in Paradise Valley. Like, yeah. It's not like you're not over here. You're not on the Bighorn. You're not in Billings. You're not on the Yellowstone here. You're on the Yellowstone over there. It's a little bit different. But it's life. Life goes on.
It does. It does. But no, more fun facts about Big Bend when it comes down to it is they have the like fossils, the old ancient seabed, some volcanic kind of activity because it's fairly old land. So, if you're one of those fossil lovers, you can go check out this park, and they have all sorts of fun stuff to check out in that way.
Well, and like not only that, but like in the surrounding areas, it looks like too, they even have like there's like a Big Bend State Park around the area, which is always one of that stuff to consider when you're going to those parks, right? Like there's shit to do. You and I know we're talking about how could we loop a Big Bend into like a Saguaro, Carlsbad Caverns, White Sands kind of trip. And the more and more I look at it, it's almost becoming like you when you do a Big Bend, your sole focus should just be Big Bend.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit before, how I think this is like a 2-day park, 2-3 day if you really want to get like the most out of it. And that's probably just to get the bare minimum of the whole type deal, So
Right.
I mean, I see that. I mean, we were talking, if we did do a cluster, we would need like 7 to 10 days to do it.
Right. No, exactly. And I mean, I'm looking here because they offer hikes, right? They say hike the mountains, hike the desert, hike the river, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and looking at like the types of hikes they offer, there's a 10 mile, there's some long ones, there's some short ones, there's some 3 to 4 to 5 miles, there's some big like 14 milers. They're all just beautiful views when you look at them, but definitely the diversity it offers. So it's like, well, if I'm spending the time and money to go all the way here, I might as well get the most out of it.
Oh, I mean, 100%. I'm not gonna go down there just to take a picture at like one spot and say, well, gee, well, that was a fun time, and head out. No. Um, it is one where you're gonna go and try and get the most bang for your buck, with it. And as it should. It seems like there's a lot of bangers in this park. So it's probably a real good one to go check out.
Well, I'm right here. I'm looking at these hikes. I'm like, I want to do that one. I want to do that one.
I don't
I
know
want,
what that one is.
I want to do that one. I want to do the Boquitas Canyon Trail. I want to do the Hot Springs Canyon Trail. I want to do the Rio Grande Village Nature Trail. I want to do the Santa Elena Canyon Trail.
He's
I
just
want.
going down the list. If you're curious, he said yes to all of them though, thus far.
I didn't say yes to the 14 miler.
Oh, that makes sense though.
I and this is in the mountain there. So, but it's all a 2,000 foot elevation gain. I mean, we did what 4,000 in Glacier in 3 miles. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's still pretty good.
it's a long day of walking.
Yeah, that's a day, for sure.
In the desert. In the desert.
Yeah, bring your water, hydrate or dehydrate, everybody.
Wow. South Rim View. You got the Window Trail. You got the Window View Trail. I don't know. There's just plenty of beautiful stuff there. And like I said, I think we were talking about it being that desert oasis of life and wilderness, and just, because it is a national park, it is protected land. It hasn't had that ability to truly be farmed or destroyed, like a lot of the land is in the Midwestern US, because of the monocultures and the soil and the nutrients in it. And we were talking about the desertification process earlier a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And how this park, it hasn't really had that happen to it, because it is a national park, because it is protected. So you see the true desert. When we go to the desert nowadays, it's almost like, oh, really? It is sand and dirt and nothing. But I think that is because of these ecosystems. They are fragile.
And super fragile.
Break.
I mean, that's why you see a Hyperion not having a trail. That's why you see all of those signs that say, please stay on the path, because the trampling of like boots onto these flowers and stuff can damage them to the point where they end up not growing back.
Ever.
Yeah, ever. So well, you got to plant the first time in order to spread your seed type deal. So it's, there's a reason why we put these precautions in, because people kind of suck.
No, we really do. And you take that to the desert and how fragile the desert, to me, it's one of the fragilest ecosystems because it's one of the quickest like growing ecosystems in the sense that like of that desertification process. So when you have these desert oases and these places, it makes you think. I look at Big Bend and it really makes me think of like a Phoenix or an Albuquerque down in the Southwest. And I'm like, what did these places look like 200 years ago? Were the rivers just flowing with just more majesty because there was no dams upstream and people taking that water? You look at like the true ecosystems and having that water taken out and those other nutrients taken out, what it does and what it changes. And it's like, just send me back 200 years and let me travel the world.
Yeah, it would be interesting to kind of to see like the true effect of like those kind of things happening. It's a lot of the stuff that we don't necessarily think of that makes those impacts.
Right.
Like it's the long game, as we talk about. A lot of times we only think of the short game instead of the long game when it comes to climate. At least we're definitely playing more of the short game in our thinking instead of that long game, which is kind of a bummer. Not gonna lie.
Right. No, it's sad because we live in a culture, and I think what's sad is that our American culture has grown up around like a very like selfish, it's about me. And capitalism has helped with that, right? My success is measured by having more money, so I have to have more money than you to be better than you. And we developed this like, I'm better than you, I got to one up you, I got to do this. And that's not, we don't have to live that way. And places like our national parks and places like Big Bend show us that, you can just live with the land. You can, be a part of it and be a part of the ecosystems and the communities. And I don't think you have those many places left in the desert, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. That's a good point. And I don't know, the desert's so weird. It's weird because it's desert. So when you think of desert, you don't think of life and all of that. But there really is quite still a good amount of life left in those kind of deserts. So
especially like reptiles and stuff. We didn't even mention that. They have what, 75 species?
Yeah, they have a ton of species of reptiles. And you think desert, you think reptiles quite a bit. At least I think snakes. Which I don't like snakes, but so there's still a good amount of life that's in the desert. So it's still fragile. Actually, you can argue it's more fragile. So we got to take care of it for one. And so being able to go to a Big Bend where you can see kind of, the true, what's a good desert full of life? I don't have a good phrase for it.
Good ecosystem, a true desert ecosystem.
Yeah.
And what it once was and what it should be. And it's not anymore. You go to a place like Phoenix, it's like, yeah, there's a reason like your grass is dead all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing I'm finding interesting about this park, looking at it, and I was talking to you about it earlier when on the first recording, is the roads. And they look very remote in the sense that you're going down this road or you're going down that road, and you're kind of choosing, like you break the park up, right? You break to this side, the east side and the west side, and even like that. I'm interested to see this north side too, because you have a ranch here, the Roselios Ranch, And just based on how that border is with the park and hearing about the elk being near that Roselios Ranch and having that history there of being there since the 90s. I there's just some interesting things about this.
For sure. So I was kind of thinking of getting into sport fishing again, but I feel like I need a good quality net.
Well, you know what, Reverend? I got the key solution for you. You know, our friends at Blue Ribbon Net make this eco-friendly aquafade bag, so you're not hurting the environment. It's 100% biodegradable. Plus, the wood is locally sourced and it is also biodegradable, and it's just such a great company to use. The Blue Ribbon Nets, they're here in Bozeman, Montana, and we even have a discount code. That's right. If you use the code Rougarou10, that's right. That's my Jeep, the Rougarou. Rougarou10, RUGARU10. You're going to get some discount on a Blue Ribbon net. You know, you can get the long one if you're fishing the big fish, or you can get just the good river one, you know, if you're like me and just want to catch a lot of fish.
So again, make sure you go check out Blue Ribbon and use the promo code Rougarou10.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You know, you use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING WAYS, and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
No, but Big Bend, it's full of ton of cool shit. And we got to save that cool shit. But speaking of cool shit, it's time for cool shit in nature, my favorite part. This week, I've got, I think, some cool ones. I got a funny one, or I got a good one that can spark some conversation maybe right after, and then I got one that is just actually genuinely cool, because these are crazy creatures. But this is an octopus dreaming. For the people just listening,
How do we know he's
octopus changing a bunch of different colors because it's having a dream?
Dreaming. How do we know he's dreaming?
I think they have monitors up to the brain, see the brainwave activity.
Oh, I like that he's like the colors like that change, but I wonder if that's also like a defense mechanism for like when it is sleeping to make it look like it's like something at night, like coral or something. Or your theory sometimes of like these guys being little alien creatures.
Oh, they are aliens. I mean, look at this thing, man. It's an alien.
Hey man, I don't know, because I don't know everything, so that's all I
fair. No, but well, I don't know if during sleep it's like a safety, like the changing of it. I don't think is a defense mechanism. They probably try and fall asleep already looking like the coral, like they've gone in and they've changed like they do, and then when they go to sleep, they're just trying to stay that color. I think what makes it more that's dreaming is the fact that the colors and patterns change so much.
Yeah, but I wonder too if it's also because they're shining light on it. You know what I mean? Like it's maybe it's reacting differently.
It could. You very well could be right
Yeah.
there. I'm not an expert on octopi, so
No, but it's cool. I mean, I'm
well,
enjoying
it's
it.
super cool to watch. It's kind of satisfying.
I don't think you'd see an octopus in Big Bend though.
No, you wouldn't see an octopus in Big Bend, and you won't see this next cool shit in nature video Big
Oh
Bend
my God.
either, because this one comes from a great Instagram account, which I think our wanderers should follow. But it's called Tourons of Yellowstone. So if you don't already got an idea of what this video is for the listeners, it's tourists being idiots. They got too close to some buffalo.
Play dead. Play dead. Oh, get him. Oh,
And the
man.
buffalo won. So
Buffalo always wins.
yeah.
Why do
Just
you think-
because they have a buffalo petting contest does not mean you need to enter.
Yeah. Why do you think? Well, and like right there, what's he doing? He's engaging with another, like that other male bison is roused up. Like both those bison there are roused up against each other at early in the video.
Yeah.
Like,
I do wonder if she actually gets attacked by this, because she trips before, and then
Right.
I think the buffalo stops.
yeah, realizing it's not another, like it's not a threat.
Well, that's why I think it stops.
And then,
Then it's in batshit crazy mode.
dude, don't like people are dumb. Like these bison, you got to respect them when like notice how like yes, they're in their big numbers right here, but they're not in their big numbers like close together. When they're in their big numbers close together, they don't give a fuck. But when you
especially they mentioned, especially if they're in like rut,
right.
they're not gonna care.
Well, if two male bison are off in the corner like this doing that, yes, they are in rut.
Oh yeah, my favorite is if you read the caption. It's she's like the lady tripped and then I guess decided to play dead in quotations.
It worked.
I know, and that's what she says in there. Like, I guess it works. Worked for her, lucky. But like, I mean, she is extremely lucky.
Yeah, she's dumb, is what she is. She's a Turon.
And that's why it's called Tourons of Yellowstone.
Oh,
But considering of people who are also lucky, the 300, I mean, we've already said this fact, but the roughly 300,000 to 400,000 people that go to Big Bend every year, those are the lucky ones.
Right? No, I honestly, I think and I bet they have their fair share of Turons too out in the desert.
Oh yeah.
But this this park, man, it looks beautiful. It looks like it's got some cool stuff. You know, you have the Santiago Mountains, the Sierra del Cabello Mountains. And you and I, kind of during the break there, we're talking about like even the Mexico side is all protected land. You know, the Santa Elena Canyon protected area, the Madres del Carmen protected area. And in reality, like Mexico has a government, they have a national park system, they have park people, they have, you know, advertising businesses, distribution businesses, dentistries, hospitals, you know, they have all that. And we get so caught up on like the negatives about Mexico. It's like, no, man, like I bet those parks are just as fucking cool as this one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I said that off air too. I'm sure the ones in Mexico are just as cool because there's a lot of pretty land in Mexico. It's not desert like Hollywood makes it kind of seem like.
Well, it is desert though, in the fact that I'm reading here.
Yeah, it is desert, but I want to go back to the mountains of Big Bend here because
go for it.
Because, well, I have a fun fact about Big Bend. It's the only park that has a whole mountain range in it, like the whole mountain range, all in Big Bend Park, and it's the and I'm gonna butcher the name, the Chisos Mountains.
Oh yeah, the Chisos, you know.
Chisos. Oh yeah, that's probably the correct Chisos Mountains. those whole thing right there in Big Bend. And it's the only park that has that kind of feature. So
But it looks like that's the place to go because you have the Chisos Mountain Lodge, and it looks like there's some good hiking trails around there, some mountains. That's actually Emery Peak is 7,000 feet high. It is the highest peak in the park. It's around there too.
oh, I bet the hiking is phenomenal there.
I'm looking at this, and you got your 4 main visitor center, or it looks like your 3 main visitor centers. You have your Chisos Basin, your Panther Junction, and your Persimmon Gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're open year round. And then they have 2 seasonal visitor centers here, the Castellon Visitor Center and the Rio Grande Village Visitor Center. And the interesting thing about this, I'm looking at the map online, is it says they're closed in the summer.
Closed in the summer.
I wonder if it's the heat.
Oh,
Yeah, but it says the stores are open all year.
that is yeah, maybe.
And you can even yeah, that is interesting because you also have the river there where you can float in the canyon. That they say that you can, that's the thing you will need your passport for, because the river is both Mexico and US. But
Yeah, and well, what was I was reading, if you don't cross the border, you don't need a permit or anything. But the moment you cross the border, you gotta have all your shit.
oh yeah, they
Um,
even offer good backcountry camping, which I think would be interesting in this park.
yeah, it would be really interesting. I mean, I think desert backcountry camping would be just interesting in general, whether it is in like a Big Bend or like an Arches or Canyonlands.
I wouldn't know how to do it, I don't think.
Well, desert backcountry definitely puts me in a different like animal because I sleep in a hammock and there's not very many good trees for that.
Well, and not only that, but like the one thing about the desert where I lack in I'm a mountain person for sure. Because the one thing I lack is like, I don't know, like insects and like poisonous ones and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and what scares me about mountain backcountry, or not mountain, but desert backcountry, having a rattlesnake come to your sleeping bag for the warmth. That'd be a big fuck no for me.
It looks like we're going here in December. Just
At least if we're doing the backcountry.
well, yeah, the one thing for sure too, when talking to you about like this kind of stuff, is that rattlesnake in the Badlands that we encountered. You know, he rattled at us far away.
Yeah.
I'm not a, and then you hear stories of people like, oh, I just got out of my car and almost stepped on one out there in Kansas or out there in Oklahoma.
Yeah, right. I'm always like, why are you casually bringing this up?
Right.
Right. Like, let's take that same story. And now if I were to tell it, it's like, got out of my car and damn near flipping died because there's a rattlesnake right outside stepping on it. Like life flashed before my eyes.
Right? No, it's it's an interesting one. But
I mean,
I
think some people say that about bears, and
we got to go for the podcast. And something else. I was talking to Jared, and this weekend only. You heard it here first, folks, but not really, because
heard it here weeks after it happened, folks.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we're doing a series, so definitely check this out on the Ruguru, called Steaks in Bear Country.
Oh, you're doing that this week?
Yeah, we're break out the kick-ass oven and Jared's Wrangler, and we're gonna cook steaks in Bear Country. And the one thing I find super interesting is Kick-Ass is a company that out of Australia, right? They're the ones who are hooking us up with these products. I was like, Jared, this is something Australian, steaks in Bear Country. And he's just like, They're gonna be like, yeah, dingoes and shit. I was like, yeah, exactly. We're gonna go hard. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it the right way, and like that's why we got to go to Big Bend, because it's like, fuck, we got to do it for the Wanderers, Mark.
I mean, I want to go. I want to go stargaze in this park because that would be the main thing I would want to see. I think I would love to do some of the hikes too, but stargazing in this park I think would be the top of my list. If you're asking me of like, what's your one thing you got to do if you go to Big Bend, it would be the stargazing.
Let's do it then. Let's plan it. I mean, there's a lot of campgrounds, definitely a lot of choices for campgrounds I saw in the park, which always is a necessity. They have some developed ones at that national park campgrounds, the Chisos Basin, the Rio Grande Village, the Cottonwood Campground. They all have reservations that you can get in. There's the Concessions Campground, the Rio Grande Village RV Park, operated by Aramark, so it's not associated with the parks. There's other campgrounds outside of Big Bend that you can stay off. And again, like we said, there's back country camping, and you got to go through recreation.gov to get those. And then you do need permits for desert wilderness backpacking. Primitive roadside sites along the Maverick Road and Remote River Road are available only in person at park centers. So the primitive road campsites where it's like you just pull off those like dirt roads.
Interesting. I just found a fact about Big Bend that is not as much fun, but could explain why maybe not as many people go to this park as we think. But what it says here is due to its close proximity to the Texas and Mexican coal-fired power plants and industrial processes, nearly half of Big Bend's visibility is reduced. This white haze often diminishes its obscures its scenic landscapes with about less than 30 miles of visibility. So we touched on climate change earlier, and there's more examples of like, what the fuck?
Where's that at? What side of the park?
I'm assuming closest to the border.
Half the park's the border. It's the river.
Well, it's probably half the park then.
Because
it said it's close. I'm guessing it's somewhat.
Well, I wonder if it's like east or west, and then I also wonder if it's like if you go up north in the park, if you wouldn't get it. I don't know. We got to go figure it out for ourselves and
one way to know.
Break it down, review, and all that for the Wanderers here to come in 20 plus years.
Yeah, we can also answer the question: does that pollution affect the stargazing?
I was going to ask that. I was curious.
I think it would, because it's a cloud,
100%.
So I'll get up there with a fan, just start waving a towel.
And I like we said, I think this park would jump up my list when we look at like our top fives and our underrated parks. I think this would jump up the list, and it slowly has creeped up. Like if there's 5 national parks that I want to go to, I think it's on that list now.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes mine right now. So I think it's hovering right around 5. Definitely would say it's trending upward. It's definitely trending upwards, getting to the tops of parks I really want to see.
Right.
But I'd still rather see like a Sequoia.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Sequoia, I think, is a little more doable before Big Bend. I think a Big Bend is going to require the planning.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just how are we going to get there, in or out? We should spend, I would say we should spend 3 to 4 days here at this park. Just based on
it's definitely one we have to see the what kind of planning you can do. Would it be just a Big Bend? What other stuff would we go do with it?
You got to look at the national parks map. But not only national parks, map, like we talked earlier, state parks, there's always, always, always other opportunities around. And I think some states like to hide their gems.
Well, either that or they give it away.
Right.
Because Texas actually, this was nicknamed like, was it Texas's gift to the nation? So,
Oh yeah.
maybe you don't hide your gems, you just give it away. So,
I mean,
which you could argue that is essentially the national park system, because these states are giving up land to federal land. They're giving it to the nation almost, in a sense.
tell that to the family doing Crazy Horse out in South Dakota. They either need to give that land to the tribes
Oh
or
yeah, we've talked
or
about that.
give it to the federal government. But that's as far as I know. Well, so you also have, I mean, they have the Rio Grande WSR down close to Big Bend. You have Fort Davis National Historical Site. You have the Amistad NRA. You have the Lyndon B. Johnson NHP, kind of in that area. Honestly, Mark, it looks like if we were to do this,
Yeah.
we're either flying into El Paso or San Antonio
Oh yeah.
to make it happen. Carlsbad Caverns, Carlsbad Caverns National Park, White Sands, New Mexico, and Guadalupe Mountains National Park are all real close there to El Paso.
Well, maybe that's the move. Fly into El Paso, and then hit all those parks. That's a good chunk. There's 4 of them.
Yeah, I think you'd go to White Sands, Carlsbad, Guadalupe, and then
Guadalupe. I've never heard of that one.
Guadalupe Mountains NP National Park, and then you roll down to Big Bend, and then from there, I think you figure it out towards like you fly into El Paso, but you fly. Well, fuck, maybe you drive back to El Paso from Big Bend. It looks maybe like it might be a little closer, or maybe San Antonio. Who knows? We will let you know when we actually do it, because I'm sure there will be an episode on the Wandering Ways podcast whenever that comes out. Again, looking at like your saguaro, I know we talked about maybe throwing that in there. I say let's back out of a saguaro and consider you do a Southern Arizona kind of thing, because you have like Oregon Pipe Cactus National Monument down there, and some other larger Southern Arizona. Plus, you have like those Southern Arizona mountains that I think would be pretty neat. There's a lot of cool stuff in the Southwest, especially New Mexico, Arizona.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you have to be a fan of the desert, which the desert is cool. You've talked about how much you like the desert.
I like all climates and all weathers.
Really, you like hot as hell?
I mean, I don't live in it. I make choices in my life so I don't live in it. But like in Phoenix, I'm glad, and Oregon that time it was real hot. I'm glad to have experienced it. I'm glad to have experienced -20 below. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not. It's supposed to be like 110 tomorrow here. That's why I'm kind of grumpy about the heat. But no, but going back to Big Bend, yeah, I think it's up there in getting to parks that I want to try and go see.
I know, but then I'm like, I'm on the big map here. That's where, if you guys have kept caught on, where I'm getting all my information from, and somehow it got me on Alaska, and I'm just like,
oh, now you want to go to Alaska?
I want to go to them all, Mark. I want to go to them all, so I need the Wanderers
to
share.
Fair. I want to go to all of them too. I would like to go to Alaska too.
Well, what I like, and when you guys, when the Wanderers take the step and the journey with us on these national parks, when we do these ABCs, when we do these breakdowns, when we do these conversations, our reviews, we hope you listen to the 2, the 3, the 4 of that one park, because we're truly trying to paint a holistic picture of what you're going to get through our experiences, through our thought processes, through our knowledge, essentially.
I don't want to take the wind out of you too much for this one here, because Well, it's time for our final words, and you were kind of going off on some good final words. So I wanted to make sure you didn't lose all your final words because it is that time. But anyways, final words, my man.
Yeah, no, but I don't want to discuss that in final words. That was for before final words.
Oh, fair. It sounded like it would make a really good final word. So I didn't want you to lose all your mojo.
You can borrow it.
No, I got different final words.
No, I like talking about parks like this and giving the ABC breakdown to our wanderers, as for parks that we don't do, because the ABC breakdown is that, like, if we haven't been there, it is that door opening moment of like, what does this park have? Big Bend, it's in Texas. I hear it's in the middle of nowhere. Okay, why do I want to go to the middle of nowhere, Texas? Because it's a desert oasis, folks. It looks beautiful. It has a bunch of wildlife. It has the Rio Grande River. It has mountains, and it has national park signs. And you got to get your pictures by the national park signs. So, like, you got to go there. And I love going there, and I love sharing our experiences with the wanderers. And like I said, go check out all the other videos we have. You find the stuff you like, you find the trips you're going to go on, you save us for later. Say, I'm going to Yellowstone next year, save that. I know Mark was like, we need to do a tour of Yellowstone where we talk, and here we are at the Lamar Valley Lookout, the first pull out in the road. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we need to do.
One day it'll be like that when we do the Red Jammers when we retire in Glacier. But I'm just going to pass it on over to you. It's been a good episode. I hope you guys enjoy.
Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. Can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for listening, following along, going through this crazy adventure we do. Yeah, finished up another ABC's Big Bend. It's in the books. We'll be moving on to probably another park we haven't done or know much about. So hopefully we'll find some fun facts and make it fun for everyone about the next park in the ABC's journey. But yeah, just go out there, have some fun out in nature, do some things, try and not melt. Hopefully the world's not on fire, and hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day and a fantastic weekend. With that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.